our Father of the skies. When we read the words, our Father in heaven, we usually imagine this distant, post-mortem destination, right? Complete with pearly gates and fluffy clouds. But here's the thing. For the ancient Proto-Hebraic people that Jesus was actually speaking to, the original word was plural. It literally meant the heavens or the skies. Section 1. Dimensions, not distant worlds. See, by flattening the skies into this far-off location called heaven, we've unintentionally warped what Jesus was actually trying to teach us. When Jesus prayed for God's will to be done on earth as it is in the heavens, he wasn't talking about two totally separate worlds. He was talking about two different dimensions of the exact same reality. This represents a really profound shift in perspective. We're shifting from location to authority. Back in the ancient Near East, the skies represented the unknown and the uncontrollable, like the weather, the stars, the changing seasons. So giving God the title of Father in the skies wasn't about pointing to some geographical address on a cosmic map. It was all about acknowledging authority. It meant that God sovereignly orders the entire cosmos, managing all those things that are completely outside of human control. As C.S. Lewis later put it, heaven is God's throne, not his vehicle. Building on that authority, we run into this ancient Hebrew concept. The skies actually remind us of God's kadosh, his absolute holiness and otherness, but without disconnecting him from our world. And that brings us to understanding realms. As Dr. Tim Mackey's theology really highlights, the biblical narrative doesn't view heaven and earth as two distinct locations separated by millions of miles. Instead, they're overlapping, airlocking dimensions. First, there's God's space, the heavens. That's the realm where God's ideal design, beauty, and justice rule completely. Then there's human space, the earth. This is the realm entrusted to us, which is, currently fractured by chaos and self-interest. And this leads us to a massive paradigm shift. The entire story of Scripture isn't about humans escaping Earth to go to heaven. It's actually about heaven and earth fully reuniting under God's rule. Section 2. The danger of dualism, the Great Divide. You see, when we treat heaven as a faraway place, we start to slide into a really dangerous mindset. That mindset is dualism. It's the idea that the physical world is bad or disposable, and only spiritual things matter. But this view totally disqualifies humanity from its original purpose. To understand what that purpose was, we just have to look to Genesis. Humans were originally created to be image bearers and co-creators. Our core job description was to partner with God to bring order out of chaos and to spread life across the earth. And this isn't some new struggle. Early church leaders like Irenaeus fought really hard against the idea that the physical world didn't matter. He argued that creation is fundamentally good and destined to be renewed, not abandoned. Section 3. The ultimate realignment tool, the Lord's Prayer. When we look at the Lord's Prayer through this new lens, it completely changes from a passive checklist into a radical tool for realignment. Think about why we even need that realignment in the first place. Just contrast the character of the Father with the reality of humanity. The Father is entirely other-centered, life-giving, and completely free from ego. But humanity? Well, we naturally gravitate toward our own comfort, our security, and building our own tiny kingdoms. So what are we really doing when we say this prayer? By praying, "Your kingdom come, your will be done," we are intentionally submitting our territory to His design. We're asking for the blueprint of the heavens to actively overwrite the chaos of earth. And this plays out really practically. As we submit our territory, we ask for daily bread to fuel this mission. We seek forgiveness for the times we tried to build our own selfish kingdoms, and we extend that exact same forgiveness to others. Which brings us to a final provocative thought. Does aiming at heaven mean ignoring the earth? Ultimately, aiming at heaven doesn't mean ignoring the earth at all. It is the only way to actually heal it. If heaven is God's blueprint for reality, how will you start pulling the skies down to earth today?